Hello and welcome to another episode on the Reloaded server. We are up to episode 7, I think. It's kind of hard to keep track. Never mind that, we're up to something around episode 7, and today we are starting things off back in the base, where we haven't actually made that much progress thanks to the last episode, where we just did a lot of things on the server. But one thing we have done is start making a head wall sort of thing. We've got various things, and this is sort of from my Bedrock series as well, where I collected various things, although unlike in Bedrock we do have access to mini blocks. So I've got a whole stack of them over here. I've got a whole stack of these heads, which I think I collected a lot of these last episode. I've got a few ocean mobs, although surprisingly, despite living in this monstrosity, I don't have a guardian head. I do have an elder guardian head. I do have some redstone, some nether, some desert, which isn't very full. I did think of trying to get a camel, and I do have all the hermit heads and me, and a silverfish as well, which blends in quite nicely actually. So, one of the things that I did notice is that Stars was not very happy with me when they discovered this head hole, especially the parrots and the pandas and the guardians and it's especially surprised that I didn't have a guardian head, which they very kindly tried to get one for me, going into this thing and tried to get one, but unfortunately were unsuccessful. So, that is what's been going on in between episodes. Now on to today's episode. Another thing I've been doing off camera is actually doing a little bit of storage. Now Stars was getting a little bit annoyed at all the mess of chests I had everywhere, and to be fair, there's still a lot of mess in all my chests everywhere. You can see, just scanning through all of these, there's quite a lot of mess still in a lot of these chests, which I am slowly sorting out. I probably had about 13 double chests worth of stuff, and now it's all condensed into some of this stuff. Now, not all of these hold things, but a fair bit of them do. So I've got redstone, I've got passive and hostile mob drops, I've got a whole stack of woods. I do have stone varieties, sand, gravel, very important, and some more other things, and of course all my entire set of my guardian drops, which is very good indeed. So, and of course all my humble villagers, which are slowly producing me a fair bit of quartz, which is going to be for a shop I am thinking of starting up again. I noticed that it wasn't any quartz box shops, so that's something that I'm thinking will help me, hopefully, rake in some diamonds. That said, I think it was Cannon Fart bought some. Stars and I collectively put in a bit of effort to get an entire shulk, I think it was, of quartz blocks for them, and that netted us, I think it was 54 diamonds each, which is probably an indication of where I'm going to sell my blocks for. So that is another thing I'm going to be doing possibly next episode, starting up a new shop somewhere in the shopping district for quartz blocks. But in order to do that, I am going to need emeralds. And a lot of them, especially since these guys are starting to get rather expensive. I am slowly reducing their prices by murdering them with a zombie and then unzombifying them again, but it's still turning out to be quite a slow process, and I definitely need emeralds. I can't keep relying on Stars to give me emeralds in order to get them. So to that end, I have been starting a little bit of a project on this side of things, which I haven't been over here in a little while. I've put in a new area of the base, which is going to hold some farms, I think. Probably 3 of the 4 crop farms, as well as melons and pumpkins, all contained within here. I have marked it out. So each of these is going to be a little bit more than that, with a little bit of a walkway over here, and possibly not sure what I'm going to host here. But I do need to be careful, because I think there is still a limit on the number of villages you can have in an active base, so I might need to start a little island somewhere around here. Now, I've got 9 villages over here, and I believe the limit is 12, so I can have 1 and 2, wait a minute. So if I do pumpkins and carrots here, that would be 2, and then if I have a third one, I need a 4th one if I'm going to do wheat as well. So that might rule out that one. So definitely melons and pumpkins are going to be 1, maybe 2 of them. And then there. My words are not working today. Potatoes and carrots. There we go. in the other two, and that probably will do me just fine for the time being, and then I can trade away with the villagers and also have my own food supply. I've also just realized that I sort of built this without actually having a way out of it, which is slightly annoying because I didn't think about that didn't think about that at all. I don't have any water towers in here, although I definitely could have one to get up and down. So I guess the only way out is break my way out and then fix it up later. Kind of like that. I've been doing a little bit of building and a little bit of testing, and this is currently the layout I'm planning on going with. I've decided to go with just 3, leaving the 4th one for a bit of storage and possibly a little bit of redstone if I can fit it in. I do have a bit of a problem at the moment though, because if I was going to put the dirt in as I've currently got it over here, it's going to end up at that level, which does mean that any villages are going to be slightly above eye level for me, which is not quite how I was thinking of doing it. I was hoping to have the dirt at this level, which means I'm going to either have to reduce the entire thing or just cope with the dirt being a little bit higher than I would have think. So just a little bit of thinking there, but yeah, trying to decide. It's not the easiest thing to decide which way I want to go at the moment. This one would mean that the hoppers are a little bit higher than the rest. A little bit higher than there, so I could put a chest here or something or other there, like say a shulker box maybe, and then from there it would be a little bit easier to collect and everything. But the aesthetics is really, do I want it up here so it can be easier to grab? It's questions. And then of course I'm going to have to do some little bit of decorating on the outside of this at the moment as well with, let's just put prismarine at the moment. The dirt is going to be here, like so, and then I'd have a prismarine thing around it with glass. So that does mean it's a raised platform. Then I can do something with that, do a bit more of a thing around here. Yeah, actually, I think it'll be better like this. They'll be raised, and then I can actually see a little bit better what's going on. So I think I'm going to stick with the current plan, and that means I don't actually have to rip it up, which is ever helpful. And a short little while later, I've got all the 3 little areas all done, for the carrots, potatoes, and the pumpkin melons. Now, as said, I'm going to leave this area in just in case I want to do a 3rd or a 4th crop farm, but I'm most likely going to leave it for having storage just in case. So I believe now I need to figure out how I'm going to put in. I'm going to put in all the dirt as well as the water outlet, which I think hopefully I should only need 1 because it's a 9x9. I just need to put it right in the middle, and that should hopefully water everything, and I shouldn't struggle with the systems I've had in the past where the farms were just so big that villager would disconnect. I think the villager would disconnect, and therefore he wouldn't be, or it wouldn't farm as efficiently. So this hopefully should keep everything all nice and clean. There we go, 1, and that should hopefully continue on very quick. With a little bit more time, I have decided to change up this thing a little bit. I've decided to make the melon and pumpkin farm just a little bit bigger because I want a little bit more of these things, especially the melons, since they need to be pushed in together to make a full block. I've also gone ahead and made a very, very janky item elevator with the idea that each of these 3 hopper lines, the one for the potatoes, carrots, and melon pumpkins, they're not necessarily in that order, will be item elevated all the way up to the top, and then they go into the hopper and so on and so forth into their areas. So with that done, I think we can now cover up this. We can now cover up this farm, and we should be able to finish up this farm and get some villagers in. Now I did get a bit of help from stars to get a zombie villager actually, which then died, which was not helpful at all, which was not at all good. So that's something I'm going to have to work on getting a new one as well. And hopefully no one visits this base and discovers the insane amount of lag that I'm sure I'm going to be producing in this short while. Well, after a very botched attempt to go get some wandering trader stuff where no one could tell me what it was, I seem to have lost all my stuff, and no one was unfortunately able to get there in time before the stuff despawned. So I'm going to have to go and grind all my stuff back, very unfortunately. I don't think I'm going to have any chance to get my full netherite gear. Or maybe I can get sword, pickaxe. I did have an axe. So yeah, I've got 6 netherite ingots, so that's probably okay. And then I can grind all the stuff from Star's base or Star's wandering trader area, so it's not too bad, I guess. It's just really annoying to have to do it in the first place. Oh well. Anyone who did try and get my stuff, thank you for trying, but I know it's not your fault, it's really mine. Just really annoying. Well, it took me a good hour, 2 hours to get that done, but I've now got myself pretty much back to where I was. I don't have enough netherite to make myself a netherite axe, but I have got myself a bow. I've changed from mending tooth back to infinity, because I don't have enough arrows at the moment, and I do have quite a little bit of other stuff, so everything is back to where it was, save a couple of bits here and there. So now that I've got that back done, I think it's time to turn my attention back to the farms. After that little trip to restock my armor and everything, I now have built up this entire area just a tad bit more. I've put in all the crops, I've put in 2 villages, I've put in all the railway carts, and I've put in all the reef over there. I was going to do a bit of clips of it off camera, but I sort of forgot, as seems to be common nowadays. So I've also gotten the 3 areas for my carrots and potatoes and melons and pumpkins, and they seem to be going quite well. These guys don't seem to have quite filled up yet, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully over the next little while they'll fill up all the inventory slots. I might need to do a little bit of crop buying and throw them at the villagers so they're now fully stocked up. But other than that, these guys should eventually start filling up, and this one already is pumping out heaps and heaps of melons, which is very good to see. Come on. And then I should be able to go trade those for emeralds, either at my own base or at Star's base, which will be very good indeed. While I've got myself a stack of quartz, or a whole lot of quartz, I decided I might as well open a very, very small thing. It's right over here next to the slime hut and the sugar box shop, so hopefully it's nice and close to the main road. It does just at the moment sell quartz blocks at 32 a piece, because I think that is the selling price for most of the things, so that should be a very good price indeed, and hopefully that nets me a few more diamonds. I do actually need to go pay up for a block, even though this isn't really 9 by 9, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so I guess I really have a little bit more space around here, but we'll see what happens. I might mark it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll go back one more. 1. And I think I will just... yeah, I'll basically mark it out and see what happens. It has been less than 24 hours since I built this shop, and already we're out of stock. Which does mean I've got 22 diamonds, but at the same time it does mean I need to restock already. I didn't really anticipate having to do this already, but I guess it's a good thing that people was buying my stuff, so win, I guess. 22 diamonds, I'll take them. The last thing I want to do today is a little bit more of a cleanup of the base. Now, I did set up this thing probably in between the episodes, and I think I showed it off at the start of this episode, but I am already starting to think about whether I should move it, because I do want this thing to be relatively flat with only a few functional builds, and this thing doesn't quite meet the cut of what I want to get around it with it. So, to that logic, I have now expanded this area down here. This used to be some black and white stripes, and I've now tunneled it out. I'm going to put in lots of heads on each side. So there's going to be heads on this side and on this side, as well as on this side and here. So this is probably going to be a bit of a loop. I'm going to tunnel it out a fair bit on each side, mostly off camera I think, and then start moving the heads into that area. So it is going to be a little bit area, and obviously a little bit more expandable than up there. It does mean I can now separate the things into probably mob heads as well, and then the the mini blocks, which are definitely something I want to get a hold of. As many mini blocks as if you can. So if anyone's watching from the server and would like to either sell or give me mini blocks, I would be very, very appreciative of that indeed. As I've been tunneling out this the right-hand side tunnel, I've just discovered that there is actually a geode down here, which is helpful, I guess. I suppose I could turn it into a bit of a farm. It is going to mean that I'm going to have to be very careful around here, because if there are any of the spawning ones around here, I am going to be a bit of trouble, because I do want to keep those. There's only one, and there's a lot of those spawning ones in here. That'll be fine, but this is good, I guess. We'll see how it goes anyway. After a fair bit of destruction, I've come up with this thing. I did actually have to break, I think it was 4 or 5 of these things, but given that I've now got all of these with all 4, or was it all 6 sides of the block now able to produce, just like that, I should be able to keep this just the way it is. Now I might in the future design just a little bit more of a system to collect and or basically make this thing look a lot better, especially given that it's right in the middle of an area that I want people to be able to come in and see. So that is the logic behind that. But I think, without dropping that beef or pork, that is going to be it for today. So thank you very much for watching. I shall see you in the next episode. Till then, goodbye.